Hello, and welcome to another Adventures with Bill. On today's adventure, this is actually part 2 of a series on how to make a Garmin livescope panoptix mobile unit that you can put in one boat and then transport to another boat. The first video, which I'll link down below and also at the end of this video, I showed how to make this mobile setup for use in a kayak. The kayak sits low to the water and has a very shallow water line, so the transducer pole is very short. In today's video, I'm going to show how to install this on my bass boat, which sits much lower in the water and is much higher above the water line. There are only 2 extra parts for this conversion. They're simple, they're easy, and I'll show you how it fits and how I made it. So here we go. Well, as I mentioned previously, there are only 2 other components to use this livescope unit on the bass boat. The first is an extension tube that goes on to the pole to get the transducer deeper. I'll show you how that fits. The second is, and you don't have to have this, but I made an extended mount to get the display unit up higher where I can see it. You can see how I made this plate here, and I'll show you some details about how I made this and installed it. But what that does is it makes this portable. When I'm not using it, this won't be in front of the boat in the view of driving the boat to block the view of another boat or ski or something like that. The easy way to install it and uninstall it, it's simply a slip-in fit. Put it in the bracket, up to the front. There you go, nice and solid. When you're finished, just pop it out, store it in one of the hatches, and it's out of the way. Now I'm going to show you how this is installed in the boat. This plastic case unit will fit down in a hatch here, and you'll see how that goes together. Now the first thing we're going to do is to take this blue box containing the battery and the control unit. This box is a little smaller than what I used on the kayak. On the kayak it was full-size crate. I cut this down because what I've done, I've gone to a lithium battery, a lithium 35 amp hour battery, and it works absolutely great. The box, you notice, is not exactly rectangular. I don't know what shape, geometric shape that is, but it's a little offset because this is the hatch that it fits down in, and you can see how it is a little offset as well. But that's where it's going to be stowed while I'm using it so that it's not up on the deck in the way for fishing and other things. That's a nice fit. Tuck the wires out of the way. Carefully close the hatch. And the wires are up along the edge. The transducer bracket pole gets installed next. This is as long as it is on the kayak, but we're going to need extra length to get the transducer down to the right depth. So this is how we do it. We use these little Velcro strips just to keep the cable out of the way while we're operating it. But you can see it just takes a few seconds to add this extension. Then this is the same mount that we had on the kayak. Another ball mount, 1-inch ball mount here, and we attach it. Ready to go. Forward view this way, wherever the handle is pointed, and then for the perspective view, it's at 90 degrees to that, the way I have my mount. I'll show a different angle from out here so you can see the setup, how far it is below the water line. Mounting the display unit for the depth finder is just as simple, just takes a minute to do it. Again, this is the same bracket I have for the kayak, same bracket, same mount. 1.5-inch ball mount here on my pole. And you can angle this thing, tilt it any way you want it, whatever height, whatever direction it's facing. Now, I don't have them yet, but there will be some plastic clips to keep the cables out of the way. But again, the Velcro strap manages the cables. There's the display unit. Got little raindrops on it from the last one. Again, I mentioned on the video of the kayak, when you're using the livescope, which is true sonar real-time viewing, it uses the black box that's down in the battery compartment, and it draws a lot of power. So if I'm just using a regular depth finder, I don't need that on. I've made an on-off switch for the power just for the livescope. On runs the livescope, off uses your regular maps, regular depth finder operation. Well, here it is, the final product. I think it's pretty slick. Again, you can see the full depth so that it's below the bottom of the boat in case I want to see if there's any fish behind me or underneath the boat. Again, the handle, just wherever it's aiming, that's where your sonar is pointing. The mount is up nice and high so that I can see it while I'm standing up to fish. I can see it when I'm sitting because there's a bass boat seat that goes right here. The last thing I need to finish this project is some plastic clips. I'll put right here against the side of the bow to keep these cables out of the way. There'll be no tripping on them, no fishing lures getting hooked on them. Hey, I really appreciate you watching today's video. If you haven't yet, please like and subscribe to the video. That really helps my channel. Also, if you'd like to see my other projects, my website is www.adventureswithbill.org. There are all kinds of videos and projects on there. I think you'll like the website. Now I'll let you see what it looks like when I'm up using it. Okay, I'm up here ready to fish. You can see my display nice and close so I can see all the detail. And I want to adjust the direction of my depth finder, my live scope. Just use my foot, turn it, see wherever the fish are. I hope you enjoyed this video.